بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين رب زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما. Part 6 inshallah of the essentials of Islam and to learn how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today inshallah, my brothers, we said Salat is the key to Jannah. Salat is the key to earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is very important to understand and learn how to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what invalidates the Salat, what increases your rewards, what is Sunnah, what is an obligation. It is very important. Inshallah, today we'll do the things or acts that invalidate the Salat. Things or acts that invalidate the Salat include deliberately speaking. If you deliberately speak while you are praying, it invalidates the Salat. Even if you were to just say 2-letter words or larger amount of words, or even see, even if you say see, it means, and you mean you see, or something like that, or take, or if somebody, can I take, you said take, or something that is meaningful. So if you speak, whether the words, if you say it more than 2-letter words, or if you've forgotten, if it was by mistake 2-letter words, or if you have forgotten and you've spoken quite large amount of words out of forgetfulness, also will invalidate the Salat. Or the large amount of action also invalidate the Salat. For example, you're jumping, or for example, you are taking steps, 3 steps at the same rak'ah mutawaliyat, 3 harakat mutawaliyat, invalidate the Salat. Imagine if you are praying, your hands are on your chest, and you move your hand to scratch your leg, and after a second you move it to scratch your head, and then you move to scratch your back, then your Salat is invalidated. But unless if you have an illness that is causing you itchiness or something like that, probably because there is a problem. But if without any reason you are just scratching yourself, making movements, not with your finger, with your hand, whole of your hand, then that invalidates the Salat. Eating while you're praying invalidates the Salat. Drinking while you're praying invalidates the Salat. Or part of your clothes, your awrah, exposing part of your awrah, the private parts, exposure invalidate the Salat. But and also we said, if part of your clothes which covers your private parts suddenly was to fall on the floor quickly, or if a woman is wearing something and then or somebody was to pull a hijab because hair is awrah during the Salat, because a woman during the Salat, what she's allowed to exposure is the exposes the hands, just the front part of the hands and the face. But for example, if somebody was to pull the hijab quickly, and if she's gone to sujood, for example, and the child was to just pull the hijab, if she jumps quickly and get the hijab and cover herself quickly, then she can continue the Salat. But if it continues for a little longer, then the Salat is invalid. Or if you are wearing something, if you're covering yourself with a big towel and you're praying, if by any chance it's just fallen on the floor and you remain naked, if you immediately jump and take it and cover yourself, then your Salat is still valid. But if you leave it for longer, then your Salat is invalid. Is among the things that invalidate the Salat. Other things that invalidate the Salat includes passing the Imam by more than 2 elements or 2 integrals. So an example, if the Imam is still reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, he's reciting Surah Al-Fatiha while he's standing, So if you are in a hurry and you go on your ruku' and then you stand up without any form of reason, or if you are to delay by two elements or two pillars, for example, an imam has recited Surah Al-Fatiha, then he's gone to his ruku', you are still in Surah Al-Fatiha, and then he stood up, you are still in Surah Al-Fatiha, and then when he goes to the sujood, if you do not have any reason, then your salat is invalid. But if you had legitimate reason, for example, if you're an old man, your movement is difficult, your recitation, and it is very difficult, you're trying to catch up, then that will not invalidate the salat. But if just out of nowhere you're just delaying the salat, and you're delaying behind the imam by more than two actions, two elements or two pillars, then that invalidates the salat. And also, prayer or salat, you cannot, one of the things that invalidate the salat, or it is not even allowed to pray behind a non-believer. Somebody who is not a Muslim and you're praying in front of them, behind them, and they're leading the salat, you cannot pray. It is very obvious. And also, praying behind a woman is against Islam. One of the most important things to understand is not that Islam look down onto a woman, that a man can lead, a woman can't. No, it is not like that. It is a shaitan will put and disturb the concentration of a man, and then all your concentration, you will be looking at the body of that woman. The shaitan will show you the back of that woman, when she bends, when she does this, when she does that. Your concentration, you will forget that you're standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the shaitan will start playing with your thoughts. And it is very important when we are praying that we are concentrating, because the salat that is performed with full concentration has more rewards than a salat that is performed without concentration. And also, when the Prophet ﷺ said, when standing in salat, the best place to stand is behind the imam, the first saf. The first line is the best one for men, but the best line for women is the last one, because there's no one to look behind them, to look at them, at their body and their movements when they're going down, when the shaitan cannot play with those kind of things. So that is the things that invalidate, acts that invalidate the salat. It is very important to understand this, because otherwise you could be praying and you do not know that your salat is invalid. It is important that to make sure your wudu is well performed, and then to pray with full concentration, knowing that you're standing in front of the King of the Kings, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to be at your best, wearing the best and with the full concentration, so that you can get maximum reward. And also, the next part now of the chapter is the Jummah prayer. It says the Friday prayer is fardu ayn. Fardu ayn means if a congregation, if people was to pray in a town and others, fardu ayn means it is a must, is not optional, is not like fardu kifaya. Fardu kifaya, there is what is known as fardu kifaya and fardu ayn. Fardu kifaya, an example is fardu kifaya, means if in a town a Muslim was to die, only two people were to go and bury that Muslim, then all Muslims will be forgiven. Otherwise, if no one was to go and bury that person, all Muslim in that town, they will get sins. So if you do it, then others will not get the sins. But this one is fardu ayn. It is a must, an obligation that is a must. Performed Salatul Jamia to every Muslim that is a man, that is free, who is not a slave, that is residence in the area. If you are in a journey, it is not a must. But if you are a residence and you live in that town, in that town you are a local, then you must perform. There is no reason of leaving Salatul Jamia. The Prophet ﷺ stopped the Sahabas to just leave it without any excuse, because it is said if you leave more than 2 or 3, it is sign of hypocrisy. It is bad, very bad. Your heart become darker with sins. So it is very important to make sure that we perform our Salatul Jamia. The only excuse that is given, legal excuse or exemption that is given to those people who are sick, who are unable, they are sick, an old person, or if a person is not well and is in hospital, and is in hospital, is not able to even walk or even able to go, then or a person very, very old, they cannot even go, or has no one to take him, then they are forgiven. That is an exemption. Or if there is a major rain, very major rain, that is causing so much difficulty to get there, it is also forgiven, inshallah. So brothers, Jum'ah is one of the most important salat for Muslim. Salatul Jum'ah, it is a fardu kifaya, we said. What does it mean? That each Muslim has to perform it. It doesn't mean if others perform, you don't get sins. Like for janaza, going to bury somebody, if others go, you will not get sins. But Salatul Jum'ah, even if everybody was to go, if you do not go, you will get sins. So it is very important. The day of Friday is a very blessed day. That is the day where the dunya will finish. It is the day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam. It is the day that so beloved, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is an hour within the Friday that if a person was to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dua, the du'as are accepted. And also it is a day that we should be reciting Surah Al-Kahf. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever recite that surah, they get the sin forgiven for the whole week, forgiven. And inshallah, we should make an effort, my brothers, on the day of Friday. We should make a lot of Duru Sharif, Salatu ala Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should make a lot of it, inshallah, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. And when you go to Friday prayer, you should go in your best looking, and also cleaning yourself, having a shower is full of rewards. Doing siwak, cleaning your teeth, these are the things, the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ when going to a Friday prayer. My brother, very good advice and important advice. You should never, and it will never be an excuse that I am not able to go to Jum'ah because I work, or my workplace refuse me to go. That will never be an acceptable excuse towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken guarantee to give you food, to feed you. Even if you are disabled on your bed, you'll still eat. But you are expected to perform certain things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered you. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and to bless our life, inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sallam.